it's been a pretty eventful week this week in the NFL, even though we're in one of the more boring parts of the offseason where not much really happens. But some things did happen this week that I think are worth discussing. Three things in particular, and we're going to start off with like the little smaller news and then, elevate our way up. Now, the smaller news. Kareem Hunt has been signed by the Cleveland Browns. Now, when I seen this move, I was just disgusted and pissed. Like, I am a huge Nick Chubb fan, and I think that's kind of messed up. Because to me, the Browns getting Kareem Hunt is like a slap in the face to Nick Chubb. Because, in my opinion, Nick Chubb is a starting running back in the NFL. A legitimate one, too. One of the better ones. He's going to be one of the better ones, in my opinion. And I think he deserves to get all the carries. But now they're going to bring in Kareem Hunt to split carries with him. I don't like that at all. If I was Nick Chubb, I'd request a trade out of Cleveland, man. Like, come on. Come to Houston, Nick Chubb. Nah, but for real, like, I am a little upset about that move. I mean, because to me, it don't make sense. And I know some people are going to say, well, you can split carries with them. Yeah, but to me, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are both high-tier running backs. Those type of running backs, you don't split carries with them. You don't. Like, do you see Ezekiel Elliott splitting carries? No, because he's, one of the better running backs in the league. And that's how I feel about Kareem Hunt and about Chubb. So I think this move is really, really dumb in Cleveland's part, and I'd be pissed if I was Nick Chubb. And maybe even Duke Johnson, he probably might be on the way out whenever Kareem Hunt comes, out of suspension, because I'm pretty sure he is going to be suspended. I mean, come on. NFL suspends players for literally just about anything, and there was a video about Kareem Hunt. So I'm pretty sure Kareem Hunt's going to be suspended a good at least 10 games. At least that's what I feel like. Now, let's move on to some slightly bigger news. Antonio Brown requested a trade, pretty much. So he put out a video on Twitter, and I'm pretty sure on Instagram too, pretty much saying goodbye to Pittsburgh. So, you know how Steelers fans retaliated, how every fan base reacts, burning his jersey. So, yeah, Antonio Brown wants out of Pittsburgh. To me, Antonio Brown's just a diva. Yes, he's a good player, top 5 wide receiver in the NFL, but he's just being a diva. I mean, seriously, it's rumored that the reason why he's acting this way is because Juju Smith won the Steelers MVP award. I mean, seriously, man. Like, you're really acting up because of that? Like, yikes. I mean, that's how I feel about Antonio Brown at the moment. I know there's going to be some Texans fans that are going to ask me, should we trade for Brown? Hell no. Hell no. If Antonio Brown reacted that way when Juju won the MVP for his team, that should tell you enough. Antonio Brown is not going to want to play second fiddle to DeAndre Hopkins, who's a better receiver than him. He's just not going to want to. And he's going to get pissed. He's going to cry for carries. He's going to create a distraction. And here in Houston, like, we don't do that. You don't see DeAndre Hopkins ever getting mad when Will Fuller has a huge game. He actually goes over there and supports him. Like, that's how it should be. And if Antonio Brown feels this way about Juju, or he got pissed because Juju won MVP, and Juju's one of the most likable guys in the league, like, how? It just don't make sense for me. And in my opinion, this whole Antonio Brown situation, this whole Pittsburgh Steelers Kardashians drama situation, starts with Mike Tomlin. I mean, he's not supposed to tolerate stuff like this as a head coach. I mean, I support Le'Veon Bell. I think Le'Veon Bell was in the right to hold out for, a new contract. But what kind of rubbed me the wrong way is whenever the whole Steelers O-line called out Le'Veon Bell. I mean, come on. What kind of teammate does that when do you see anyone else in the NFL like call out their teammate that's holding out? Usually the teammates are supportive of their teammate. But no, not in Pittsburgh. The O-line was pissed at Le'Veon Bell for holding out. So, Mike Tomlin allowed that to happen. And then, once Le'Veon Bell made it official that he wasn't showing up all year, pretty much the whole team posted on social media, pretty much digging through Le'Veon Bell's locker. And I didn't like that either. I mean, who does that? What head coach allows that in the NFL? You don't see that anywhere. You have, of course, the Antonio Brown situation. And then you have Big Ben throwing people under the bus consistently. Like, it's just on Mike Tomlin. He shouldn't allow any of these things. And in my opinion, I wouldn't be surprised if Mike Tomlin is going to be on the way out here pretty soon, because I don't see Pittsburgh being a threat anymore. I think Pittsburgh's going to just take a complete nosedive next season and just completely fall off, and the Cleveland Browns are going to take over that division. Now, for the last bit of news, Joe Flacco got traded from the Ravens to the Broncos for a 4th round pick. So, I mean, the Broncos had 2 4th round picks, so I mean, it's not really paying much for Joe Flacco, but it's just the fact that they brought in Joe Flacco. Now, the Ravens, they get rid of that contract, clear up some cap space. They get a 4th round pick. So, the Ravens, low-key, won the trade. The Broncos take that contract, and now they have a Joe Flacco on their team. A Joe Flacco who isn't very good. Oh my god, like, what is John Elway doing over there? I mean, honestly, personally, I believe John Elway should have been fired a long time ago. The guy is not good. I mean, he gets all this credit for that one Super Bowl he won, but I mean, after that, what has he done? I mean, the guy literally, if it wasn't for the Texans outbidding John Elway for Osweiler, he would have had Osweiler. And not only that, he later then made Trevor Siemian a starting quarterback. I mean, Trevor Siemian, he should have never been a starting quarterback in this league, but, Denver went with him. And then he drafted Paxton Lynch in the 1st round, a guy that was borderline undraftable. Actually, no, he didn't even just draft him. He traded up to draft him, so that makes it a little bit worse. And then he picked up Case Keenum last season in free agency, and that move didn't really work out either. I mean, look at the Broncos this season. I mean, they have a good roster, but Case Keenum kind of held them back. And now he trades for Joe Flacco, a quarterback that's been mediocre at best since he won the Super Bowl in what year was it? 2012? Well, 2012 season, 2013 the year. So Flacco, ever since he got that contract, he's been terrible. I mean, you just gotta look up the numbers. It's just a bad trade for the Denver Broncos. I mean, they didn't really give up much, but if John Elway legitimately believes that Joe Flacco can take them to the Super Bowl again, then Broncos fans, I feel sorry for you, because Joe Flacco is not the answer. And in fact, I'll probably even say Case Keenum is probably a better starting option than Joe Flacco at this point. Joe Flacco, he's just not a good quarterback. And unfortunately for Broncos fans, I guess, I mean, I'm not a Broncos fan, so I don't really care. I do think the Broncos are going to try to move on from Case Keenum, whether that's a trade or just straight up cutting him. But I don't think Case Keenum will be on that roster next season. I don't know exactly what the Broncos are going to plan on doing. Are they going to go forward with Joe Flacco as your starting quarterback and that's it? Are they going to draft the quarterback early on and have him sit behind Joe Flacco? I think that'd be the wiser choice, in my opinion. I did hear that they really like quarterback Drew Lock. And personally, I'm not a fan of Drew Lock, so I don't know if that's what they plan on doing. Maybe draft him in the 2nd round or trade back up late into the 1st, because they're planning on taking him with their 1st round pick. And the Broncos are really, really screwed, because Drew Lock is not worth that early of a first-round pick. I don't even think he's worth the first-round pick in my opinion. So, who knows where the Broncos are going to go from here. I just don't think they're in good hands with John Elway. Now, let's go to the Ravens now. The Ravens, they got rid of a quarterback they weren't using. Personally, I don't think Lamar Jackson is the answer for them. I think Lamar Jackson does show flashes, but he's not consistent enough with his accuracy to be a good quarterback in the NFL. So I do think the Baltimore Ravens will be searching for a quarterback in the near future. And I mean, they got rid of one bad quarterback in Joe Flacco. In a few years, they'll be looking for another quarterback. So those are my thoughts on the week so far in the NFL. You know, some pretty cool news coming out. Usually at this point, it's just boring. Pretty much just waiting for free agency and the draft. But we got some cool little news this week. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys for today. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.